Hi, I have to tell you I'm so honored to be part of a group that's taking a stand for healing our divided nation. So I'm very honored to be here, and I hope that something that I share today is allowing you to help heal that relationship with millennials. I have 5 millennials of my own, and I want to be able to tell you about, is this good news or bad news that we're having problems with them? So the millennials are accused of being lazy and intolerant and entitled, and they're accused of being self-centered, and they're accused of being problems, and the statistics show that they are. They are leaving, job hopping, they're costing over $30 billion a year. But what I say that they are the canary in the coal mine. And for those of you that don't know what that means, the canary was always put into the coal mine because often when the miners were mining coal, they didn't know when there were toxic fumes present. They couldn't see them or smell them. So if the canary died, that was the evidence that there was some toxicity in that coal mine. And that's what our millennials are providing for us today, is to look at what's going on in our systems that cause those millennials to be part of the problem. So why are they so disengaged? What is causing this? Part of it is that we know this devil that we know called control models. In our efforts to bring about really well-developed, good citizens in the world, we use methods like coercion. We use forms of coercion that are often called autocratic, where our belief is my job is to manage you into being a good person. My job is to set your goals, tell you what to do it because I said so. I just saw a yard sign the other day that says, be a parent, not a friend. When we use control methods, we can't be a parent and be a friend. We can't be a boss and be a friend, but we don't have to stay with control models. We could also sometimes use carrots to try to motivate people. That's a control model, and most people don't even know that the statistics show that using rewards and incentives actually causes people to be less committed to the behavior that you want them to be committed to. It causes them to be people that are self-centered. I got to rush through things so that I can get to the reward. I've got to be in competition with other people. And sometimes we do something called judgment. Oh, I'm so proud of you. Oh, I'm so disappointed in you. Oh, I'm going to be bestowing on you favor, or I'm going to bestow on you withdraw and withholding. And it's all well-intended to shape a person into being a better person. And sometimes we do this one, which is overcompensating. I see this all the time in families where they think if I put my kids in the best schools or I put them in the best sport teams, that it's somehow going to translate into a child that is socially interested, caring about the consequences they cause to other people. And these 4 things are not helpful because they're all about trying to motivate people from the outside in. And I really want you to think about this because it's been the seductive way for centuries. And I want to spit in the soup of it because even in the good old days, it wasn't so great. We just tolerated it more. And now with technology and the awareness that people have, they're less accepting of these control models, and I say yay. So what is the problem with this? It causes a feeling of inferiority. I have people on my team that say, I don't even want you to use that picture. Please pick a different picture. And I choose to use this picture because many people are wearing masks in our world. The way that we know they are is we're the most addicted, indebted, obese, and over-medicated population. And often there's a big mask in front of that. And so what happens is we don't recognize how core and epidemic that problem is. We don't recognize that people need to feel empowered. They need to feel lovable. They need to feel connected. They need to feel that they can contribute. And I want you to just consider this story. Imagine there's a gang member, and he's asked to go murder somebody, and he does, because the only place he believed that he could fit in a gang and feel empowered, lovable, connected, and contributing was in that gang. And because of that, he'd override his conscience and he'd override his fear of imprisonment in order to get those 4 core needs met. I want to focus on the lovable one. Lovable is not the same as loved. Love is important. I was very loved as a child, but I didn't always feel seen. I didn't feel that my perspective was okay or that it was allowed. I didn't feel empathized with. And I'm not saying my parents were bad. They were good people. They didn't have the skill nor the awareness of how important it is to allow people to express their feelings and express their own ideas. And that's what's happening with the millennials. They know a lot. They're on the internet. They have a very global experience in their life, and they know they have things to share, but we lavish them with love without seeing them. And if you learn nothing else than to consider these 4 core needs and how important it is to not only love your millennials or all of your employees or all of your families, but also see them, hear them, allow them to be visible. Okay. So what's the way out? The way out is to actually teach people to be responsible from the inside out. While we're doing all those control methods, we can't do that. We're so focused on, I've got to make this happen to you, that we're not developing those muscles of intrinsic motivation within people. And so when we are able to really set aside those control methods, we'll take the time to mentor and to guide and to lead those millennials or all of your teams. And when you do that, it takes more work. It's less sexy than if I can just threaten you or I can just dangle a carrot in front of you. But when we do that, we bring the best out in them because we're taking the time to spend with them to say you matter and you can be taught how to pick up responsibility. You can be taught how to care about the consequences that you're causing other people, not just about the consequences to you. And that takes a certain kind of leadership. Now, the problem with that is when I talk to most people about millennials, they'll say, I'll never have another one work for me again. I can't stand them. And as soon as you call that into being, that's what you get. So you want to look at the millennials as they are a powerhouse, and that's something to be celebrated. We just need to help develop that power into something that's in service to purpose and in service to love. And that's what's lacking. We're dominating on one hand, and we're neglecting developing the true leadership within them. The change process in any kind of improvement within people, within your families or your workplaces, is that it's natural in the beginning of our lives to be transactional, where it's all about what's in it for me. What am I going to get out of this? And we all have that selfish tendency at times. When we move into transformation, the goal is to get you into a place where you're now starting to think about purpose and values. But if you were to look inside of a caterpillar, it looks very bleak. Not only does it look bleak hanging there, if you could drill a little hole into it, you could peek inside, you'd say, that looks nasty in there. It's a black, soupy mess. I don't see a caterpillar anymore. I don't yet see a butterfly. I don't even know that anything good is going on. That's particularly difficult if you don't know that there's a butterfly on the other side of the millennial development or any cultural development. So having the faith that if I build the right cocoon and I create the right conditions where I remove all the things that make people feel that they're not empowered, lovable, and connected and contributing, and I put into the environment the things that help them feel that way, and I take the time to transform them to where they care about success for all. The caterpillar itself has cells inside of it called imaginal cells, and I'm not making that up. That's what the biologists call them, imaginal cells. So inside of every person is that dormant ability to be that free and creative and innovative and helpful person. But we have to be willing to understand the process for getting them there. You want to consider a radical departure in your life. Our country needs a radical departure. We need to be able to share power. When you hear yourself say, I have a terrible 2, stop saying it. When you say, I have a terrible millennial, stop saying it because it's the old system. I want to end on this. Einstein said that if you keep doing what you've always done, you'll keep getting what you've always got. So let's stop the insanity. He also said, you can't solve the problems of the world with the same energy that the problems were created by, and I would say we can't solve the problems with the millennials or with our world or with our nation if we use the same controlling systems. So I hope that you'll consider taking the road less traveled. Thank you very much.